Oh, it's Satchel.
Two soldier, you better get on your feet.
I know. Don't.
That again. Yep.
God. Oh! This thing got hydraulics, baby!
In this video, I'm going to try and hit some of the utmost basics of just how to have fun in this game, from classes to spawn points and some general gameplay tips. Your pickle is guaranteed to be tickled. I would like to start by saying I have zero experience making this kind of video and just want to apologize in advance. I'm merely somebody who loves Hell Let Loose and just wants other people to as well. Here's some timestamps if you're looking for something more specific and don't want to watch all the other bullshit in this video. I'm going to knock my main point out right away. New players, I encourage you to learn how to play officer or squad leader. Hear me out. I know a lot of things in this game seem overwhelming at first, but let me give you a quick crash course. First of all, have a microphone. Please have a microphone. If you don't, do not play officer. This is really important no matter what, but most people in this game will happily welcome newcomers, so just tell people that you're new and I promise they will be patient and even try to help you out. Okay, into the nitty-gritty. Learn how to use your map markers and call things out in command chat. Just give it a ping, look at your ping on the map, and label it accordingly. Tank, garrison, outpost, infantry, whatever. Oh, also just a tip, you might want to turn your leadership volume like all the way down. For some reason, people who play command or squad leader have the worst microphone known to man, and it sounds like they're talking through a tin cannon string. Second, always have an outpost down for your squad. Outposts are spawn points for your squad only, and have a way faster respawn time than garrisons. OPs are placed by using your watch just like a garrison, but you don't need supplies. If you're on the move, keep it updated for your squad. If you're defending or in a good attacking position, keep it in a place that will benefit your squad and give them a reason to spawn there instead of the garrison, without it being exposed or in a spot where it will be easily taken out. Enemies can take your OP out by merely being in proximity of it. Lastly, here is a quick garrison tutorial. This is a garrison. In friendly territory, a garrison takes 50 supplies to build. In enemy territory, a garrison takes 100 supplies to build. Also in enemy territory, garrisons can be fully locked when an enemy is within 100 meters. In friendly territory, it becomes fully locked when they're in 15 meters. This is really important. If your commander or anybody drops supplies close on the line, do not build that garrison in the red zone. Build it in friendly territory. Otherwise, that garrison is going to be locked so quick and so easy. This squad leader pulled it really close here, but technically that is on our side, just on the line, so it's going to be a lot harder for the enemies to completely lock out that garrison. Alright, I'm going to move into some general gameplay tips kind of thing. I'm not going to go super in-depth here and give you a crazy guide on positioning and where to hit tanks and the ballistics and caliber of every gun. You want my 2 cents? Don't run through open fields. Respawn if you lose a point. Stop taking the half track. Shoot tanks in the rear. Unless it has tires, then go nuts. Garen, go. MG42, go. And I'd marry the STG if I could. Okay, moving on to a more legitimate point here. When you hear a plane, look up. Honestly, if everyone would do this, games would play out a lot different. A plane going overhead means either your commander or the enemy commander is placing an ability to screw the other team over. If you hear a plane, look to see what it drops. If it's an enemy supply drop or an enemy airhead, move to take it out. If it's too far or you're in combat, at least call it out to your squad or in proximity chat. For my visual learners, here's what the different supply drops look like. This is a supply drop for the Americans and the Russians. A green box with a whitish parachute. This is a supply drop for the Germans. A long tube with a pointy end and a red parachute. This is a supply drop for the British, a long tube with no pointy end. Alright, next I'm going to do a quick rundown of all the infantry classes so you can hopefully find one that suits your style and understand its role a little more. Rifleman. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there's much of a reason to bother playing Rifleman. With every other class, you'll get the same or a better weapon and a better ability. At level 6 Rifleman, across all factions except the US and I think the Desert British forces, you get explosive ammo, which is really helpful, but at support level 3, you get explosive ammo and regular ammo and supplies. Assault. Assault is a great all-around fighting loadout. For the most part, you'll get solid weapons and or lots of grenades. And if you go for the grind to level 9 Assault, you get a satchel. We'll go a little more into detail with satchels, but basically, they're huge bombs that destroy everything in their path. The level 9 Assault loadout is arguably one of the strongest in the game, especially on Germany where you get an STG and a satchel. Automatic Rifleman is another solid fighting class. Across all factions, you'll get a pretty great automatic weapon if rifles don't really suit your style. Medic. Honestly, I wish more people played Medic. Having a Medic around is so helpful to keep your front lines up and prevent you from having to run from a garrison or at OP as much. Side note, Medics have 20 bandages, whereas every other role has 2, and you bandage yourself and friendlies super fast. So what I'm saying is when you revive someone, please bandage them too. Don't just revive them and leave them with their balls hanging out. People will love you if you're a good medic, and just a warning, you get very little ammo as medic, so use it wisely. Support. Support is one of the most helpful team play based infantry classes. Support carries a box of 50 supplies, meaning if you and your squad lead coordinate, you can build a garrison in friendly territory without having to get the supplies airdropped to you or dropped from a truck. Don't play support if you're not going to listen to your squad leader. As previously stated, support also eventually gets access to regular ammo and explosive ammo, and at level 8 you get access to the flamethrower. The flamethrower can be really fun or really frustrating to use. It's like one of those guns where you spend 15 lives with 0 kills and then have like 130 kill life. Machine Gunner. Machine Gunner is all about suppressive fire. Even if you can't see enemies, just ask your squad for pings and start lighting it up. Like in this clip, for example, I'm not exactly focused on taking these guys out, but more so just keeping them out of the windows so my team can get inside. No, this is definitely not an excuse for my terrible aim in this clip. Machine guns are also great for taking out infantry trucks and supply trucks. I would say there's a slight learning curve with Gunner, mainly just because of positioning. There's something I like to call the machine gunner's curse, where you fire 2 rounds after setting your bipod up and then immediately get headshotted. Because in a lot of situations, you're just making yourself a huge target, laying down that much fire. Anti-tank. A good AT player is a pleasure to work with. Enemy tanks can be a real problem, but if you know how to deal with them, your team will benefit a lot. If you have rockets, you'll be able to almost always destroy any tank up to medium class as long as you're shooting it from behind. With heavy tanks, it's much more unlikely, which is where the satchel comes into play. The satchel is unlocked at level 6 AT and is a placeable explosive charge that will blow up any class of vehicle. Keep in mind, it has a massive explosive radius. Don't be like this guy who thought he was out of range and safe. You also get 4 mines with the satchel class. A lot of the times you will catch people off guard because mines, I feel like, aren't placed that often. Also, another pro tip, with rockets and satchels, you can destroy garrisons. Engineer. In a lot of games, Engineer can kind of be the key to success. If you're someone who doesn't mind taking a break from shooting and doing some logistics work, then this class is for you. Most importantly, Engineers build nodes. Nodes are resource generators that provide resources for your commander to call in abilities. With the wrench tool, you can place blueprints for these fortifications and nodes, and then to build those blueprints, you need the supplies. Ask your squad leader if you can get a supply truck spawned at any of the 3 HQ spawns, and go from there. When you're playing the offensive game mode and your team is defending is when the fortifications really come in handy. Tell your squad leader you're going to start building up a point and just start placing all of your fortifications there. Your barricades, bunkers, barbed wire. You'll have to make a few runs with your truck. If you drive back to HQ and go under or near this resupply point, the 2 boxes will refill in your truck. Once you hit level 3 with Engineer, you can really start going on offense. You'll get a satchel on every team, and on the US you get a shotgun, which is a lot of fun to use. Alright, that about concludes it for the video. I hope I didn't come off as some like obnoxious, up on their high horse, hell let loose player who's just pissed off at new people. Like I said in the beginning, most people will happily welcome newcomers. My hopes were just to create a video that will kind of get your mind thinking about the more in-depth mechanics that this game has, so you can kind of understand either how to have more fun or maybe why you're not having fun. Unfortunately, it's a heavily team-oriented game, so sometimes if you're doing everything I ask of you or everything in your power to try to be a good officer or whatever, there's a lot of other squads who might be terrible, and you just might be in a really bad lobby and it'll be a rough match because your team isn't working together. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is like the first legitimate video I've ever made. If you have any questions, I'll try to leave them in the comments. If you're an experienced player and have any more tips, feel free to leave some. Or if I got any of this information wrong, it's very possible. But yeah, thanks.